Hello folks, I know there are lots of you out there that hate EVs with a passion, but equally there are lots of you that are currently considering getting your hands on one. I'm going to have a look through what I consider to be the best used buys in the EV market under 20 grand. I'm only looking at cars that claim a 200-mile range or above, and everything in this video's got less than 80,000 miles on it. Aside from that, all bets are off. We've got all kinds of things here going up from this 7.5 grand Renault Zoe right up to something a little bit spicy at 20 grand. These Renault Zoes, you can get these for under 5 grand now. I've just looked at what's available right now on Auto Trader. I'll put a link to Auto Trader in the video description, but you can just click on that and go straight through. This is an awful listing for this car. I mean, they've taken pictures in not very well lit, fairly grotty car park. I've had a go at least, but it's not the best in terms of your car photos. A lot of people slag off the Zoe because it's got a 1-star Euro NCAP rating, but a lot of people get quite confused about what a 1-star Euro NCAP means. The crash test is just one part of it, and how it performs in the crash test is one part of it. You get scored down nowadays if you don't have lane keep assist and loads of other annoying things that lots of people turn off every time they get into a car. So yes, there are going to be safer cars on the road than the Renault Zoe, but a 1-star rating for it is probably a little bit unfair. 7.5 grand this one, claimed range of 250 miles. This one has got an owned battery. Now with Renault Zoes, they did a thing where you could basically lease the battery from Renault. So you will find some cars that have got a leased battery, some have got an owned battery. Obviously, if it's leased, there's some sort of warranty that goes with that. If you own it, the warranty is not going to be as good basically, but you haven't got a monthly cost to lease the battery. This one's done 48,500 miles. 0 to 60 time on it, 0 to 62 is 13.5 seconds, so it's not quick. You've got a very respectable 338 litres of boot space, which in such a small car is quite good. And evidently cabin space is not too bad either. These are very popular cars. There are currently some real bargains around, some really cheap stuff around. This is just the first one I've grabbed on Auto Trader, but worth keeping in mind. Next, we're looking at the Corsa-E. I did a very controversial video on the Corsa-E a couple of weeks ago and explained how if you're going to buy a new one using cash or PCP, you're actually better off to the tune of about 10 grand by leasing one. But if you'd rather invest your cash into an asset, albeit in a depreciating one, let someone else take that first major kick of depreciation and look at the Vauxhall Corsa-E 2021 50 kilowatt hour SRI NAV Premium, 13 grand. Now, keep in mind, this car would have been 30 grand when it was new. It's now 2 years old and it's 13 grand. It's got 45,000 miles on the clock. Now, you can spend similar money to this and get one with like 15,000 miles on the clock for a lower spec or something. This is an all right price, but it's not the best price. So you can probably spend about 11, 12 grand, maybe a bit lower spec, but I've looked at a fairly nicely spec'd one here. I'm not vouching for any of the cars I'm showing you in this video, by the way. I'm just giving you an example of what you can get for your money. As always, do all your used car buying checks. Claimed range on this one's 209 miles. Then we've got 0 to 60 time of 7.6 seconds, which in a little Corsa feels blooming quick, I can tell you that. And 267 litres of boot space. So you don't have the boot space that you've got in the Zoe, in the little Corsa, but it will get you down the road a little bit quicker. Great value at 13 grand though, really. Peugeot E2008 is next. 50 kilowatt hour GT SUV electric auto, 136 brake horsepower. This is a 2020 model, 67,000 miles on it, but it's under 15 grand. Again, you're looking at a car there that would have been the wrong side of 30 grand when it started its life. So performance figures in the 2008, you've got 0 to 62 in 9 seconds, which is perfectly respectable. And despite the fact we've got batteries to contend with, still got 434 litres of boot space. So not too shabby. As I said, a 3-year-old car there, E2008, 1495. Not bad. Next is the Fiat 500e. This is one of the best laughs I've ever had in an EV. I had one of these for a month from Onto. I did a video about it on my channel, and it was just such a laugh, this thing. Now, these were about 32 grand to buy new. This one is a year old, and it's 15,698. and it's got 14,500 miles on it. If that's not a bargain, I don't know what is. Obviously the boot's tiny. Inside it actually feels a lot bigger than you might expect, particularly up the front, because you've got no transmission tunnel. It feels actually quite spacious in there. It's really weird. It really is a little bit of a TARDIS of a car until you get to the boot, which is very small. But really and truly, you're not buying one of these for anything more than driving around town in, are you? 0-62 in 9 seconds. And the boot, as I said, tiny, 185 litres. But you're going to get fantastic ratio of grins per pound in this one. And as I said, it's pretty much half its new price. And as I said, it's a year-old car that's half of its used price. Next one's the MG5. So it's a big estate car from MG. 250 miles of range is claimed on this. Let's have a look at the performance stats. 0-60 in 7.3 seconds and boot space of 578 litres. You can see why these things have been pretty popular. There are plenty of them out on the road. Nothing about the car is particularly interesting, but it's a big practical car that's not going to cost you the earth to run. 36,000 miles on this one. It's a 2021 71 reg car, 16,695. I think you could do a lot worse. Next, we've got the Mokka-E. This has been a massive car for Vauxhall. I haven't driven one yet, but I intend to. Range is 201 miles on it. 0-60 time of 8.7 seconds and 310 litres of boot space. Just a shade under 17 grand this one. It's the SE Nav Premium Auto. This is what it looks like. There we go. They are massively popular, as I said. 11,000 miles on this car. Under 17 grand and only 2 years old. When it comes to buying a used EV, by the way, you need to do all the checks that you would do with a petrol or diesel car normally. That includes everything you do on a test drive, but it also means doing your car history check. Now on here, you can see that it's passed the basic history check, which says not recorded as stolen, not recorded as scrap, not an insurance write-off, not imported, not exported. This is the one I'm focusing on, not an insurance write-off. Because insurance companies, as you'll know if you've watched my other videos on this, don't have to register their cars on the MyAfter database when they're written off. That means some cars that have been written off go through as unrecorded write-offs. They will pass your standard HPI check with flying colours, no issues whatsoever. So cars on here right now will have nice big green ticks next to them and they're actually write-offs. What you can do is go on VCheck. There's a link to this in the video description. VCheck have supported me for quite a long time. Basic check's only a few quid. You can get the top level check, which I recommend. That's what we're seeing here for just a tenner. And it will tell you this, salvage history. So VCheck looks through salvage auction history and it will find these cars. So this could be a car that's passed all the checks absolutely fine on HPI, Experian and the like. However, we've got pictures of it here, absolutely battered. Look at that. You can actually usually click on these as well. This is just a sample. It'll take you through to the salvage auction site. You can see the full listing for the car quite often. Got it listed as a Cat S, for example. Yeah, it appears clear on most car history reports. So go and check it out, folks. In the video description, VCheck. Next, we've got the Kia Niro 64 kWh 4, which is a really good spec level in a Kia SUV electric auto, 201 brake horsepower. This is a 2020 model. It's got 80,000 miles on it. There are quite a few of these around, so you can probably find yourself a lower mileage example for similar money. Very good car, the Niro. They come with a heat pump as standard, which is great, so you're not going to lose a load of range in winter months. And the claimed range on it's 282 miles. Now, if we go to the performance figures, you'll see 0-60 time of 7.5 seconds and 451 litres of boot space. So nice practical car. It's got a really good range on it. And you'll get a 3-year-old one for under 18 grand. Now the sister car to the Kia Niro is the Hyundai Kona, 64 kWh premium auto. It's a 2020 model for just under 19 grand. Range on this one's 279 miles, but really it's a very similar car. So 0-62 in 7.9 on this one. And also within Kia Hyundai, you should look at the Kia Soul. It looks a little bit like Postman Pat's van, but it's a blooming good car. And you've got similar numbers to this. but you can pick those up a little bit cheaper. Next, we've got the Citroen EC4. This was just named as the best used car to buy in either the Motor Easy survey or the Driver Power survey. I did a video on it a couple of weeks ago. 50 kilowatt hour Sense Plus Auto, 2021 model, 18 grand. Again, this is about a £30,000 car, there or thereabouts. 380 litres of boot space, 9 seconds 0 to 60, 217 miles of range. Not a bad looking car at all, nice things to drive. Really can't quibble with one of those at that sort of money, especially for 2021. Now, one car that's taken a real depreciation hit and looks like a really good used buy is the VW ID3. The infotainment system, the software around that has been massively problematic and stuff, and at 35 grand or thereabouts, they didn't look like particularly good value. It's not an interesting car, it's not an exciting car, but you can get a 2-3-year-old one of these for around about this sort of money. Between about 18 and 22,000 will get you a 2-3-year-old car with not very many miles on it. This one's actually got 49,000 miles on it. I saw another one listed today for just over £20,000. I think it's a 2021 model with 12,000 miles on it. So bargains are around, okay? 260 miles of range is claimed. 0 to 60 time on this is 7.3 seconds. And the boot, I think, is 380 litres. Let's have a look, 385 litres. You will find that heat pumps on these were optional extras. It was about £1,000, but not too many people took it. Obviously, without a heat pump in the winter months, it's going to use more electric when you're using the heater and things like that. So something to bear in mind, might be worth looking out for one for a heat pump. Next, we've got the Tesla Model S at 20 grand, 85 this one is. 2014 model, 80,000 miles on it, 305 mile range. But on a 2014, you're going to expect its battery to have degraded a little bit, but you can check it on the Teslas reasonably easy. 0 to 60 in 5.4 seconds, a huge 745 litres of boot space. The main boot on these is huge, but obviously you've also got the frunk. A lot of people are often deceived by just how wide these cars are. It's a big, big car, and there's tons of space inside. You've got that glorious infotainment system. They are really lovely things. I used one of these as an airport taxi a few times many moons ago when I was travelling on business, and it was absolutely fantastic. Lovely thing to travel in. £19,999 will get you in one of those. Now, this one is over budget. I know this is an under 20 grand video, but I just wanted to show you a Tesla Model 3. This is a 2019 model, obviously £40,000 plus car. 61,000 miles on it, 254 miles of range, 23.5 grand. Again, those earlier Model 3s don't come with a heat pump as standard, but from 2021 onwards, you'll see those, instead of having the silver door handles, they've got black door handles. From 2021 onwards, they did come with a heat pump as standard, so they're going to perform a bit better in winter. I think the Model 3 is an exceptional car. I know they have their detractors and everything. I think they're bloody good cars, and for that kind of money, it's definitely worth thinking about. Thanks for watching this one. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. It's free, it takes a second, and it helps me out. Please use that link to VCheck in the video description, and please use that link to Auto Trader to go and have a search for yourself. Thanks again, folks. See you soon.